Welcome to the Dog and Gus Show, now on Feel It Radio.
Hey, Doggy.
Hey, Gus.
How are you?
Good, you?
I'm great. We have a wonderful guest.
We most certainly do.
Yes, she's incredibly talented, patient. We'll tell you a little bit why that's coming up. But no, thank you for coming. It's
Jessy Lindsay.
Yeah. Hi, Jessy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. So nice to be here.
Yeah, and we're going to ask you all the important questions.
I'm so ready.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yes. So how was your summer at the shed? I know that you did quite a bit of work there. Did you enjoy that?
It's been amazing. I mean, I just graduated from university in April, so it was like my first contract post-school. And it was honestly the most perfect place to learn so many things, to meet so many lovely people, to gain a lot of skills, and to share some music also with people on Spark Street. It was honestly a really lovely community that was built throughout the summer, because a lot of the same people would come every time, including Dawg, came to basically every show this summer, which was so lovely. Yeah, just wonderful artists, a wonderful venue, such a great time. Learned so many skills, like doing sound programming, running the show also, so like doing all the chatting in between the artists, and yeah, just overall a lovely experience, and I feel very grateful to have been contacted about that. Yeah,
it was kind of fun. I enjoyed going out to the shows. I was sad that I had to go back to work. I'm like, Jessy, I can't come to any more shows because kind of like, work gets in the way now.
I know life isn't the one that gets in the way anymore. It's work.
Yeah.
No, it was it seemed like such a wonderful, like you said, community, and it's the artists are all amazing too, and just a great idea. Really, it kind of spruced up Spark Street, because Spark Street used to be so lively, right? And and it kind of lost a lot of that that shine, and I think that the shed brought it a little bit more shine back.
Yeah, I mean, Mike in particular, right? Like just with the shed shows, with the other shows all around the city. What a great concept that was. Like, that's just amazing.
Melanie, man.
She crushed it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's so awesome. I love working with her, for sure. Yeah. And honestly, I'm also just, it's awesome to see that Spark Street sees value in investing in the arts and hiring artists and putting their money there, and seeing that as a way to bring people to Spark Street. Like that's so lovely to see also, and to be able to bring artists and to see who gets interested in which artist, because it's different artists bring in different people on the street. It's almost like a in between busking and a show, so you really learn a lot about your audience and who's drawn in and everything. It's a little bit of, some people have even said it's kind of like a social experiment this summer, so it's been really cool, and yeah, just awesome stuff.
It's great that you mentioned that, because originally Spark Street back in the day, so when there was always shopping there, and that's where people went, because a lot of the people went there for shopping for Christmas and all that, like long ago in Ottawa. But it was always artsy. It was always part of the arts. Like that was always the big part of Spark Street. That's why you can't drive there. That's like, you'd only walk there. And there was a ton of like old, not museums, but actual studios, and just different things for the arts. And I'm glad that it's kind of getting that similar like recognition and the way it looks. And you're right, though. It's so great to see that, right? And really kind of adopting that again, which is lovely.
Well, it's funny because Jessy and I talk about it a lot, like with the artists too. They're like, should I do all my like just original material? Should I do some covers? And for me, it was more like, you know what? You get a cover, you bring people stop. When they hear somebody doing a cover, they're like, and they look, and then, okay, you got them, now do an original. So it was a good blend for most of them, right? Jessy, even yourself included, like just do a couple of covers and then come out and say, well, I'm going to do an original song. And like Jessy would say, do you want an original or do you want a cover? And everybody's like, original. So it was great.
That is good.
Yeah.
Jessy seems like she knows how to play the crowd.
Yes, she's good at
that. I'm working on it. It's a fun time. I think when I realized that it's all about just like sharing this experience, you're just conversing with the crowd as if you would be conversing with like other people, and you're creating these moments, and you're just sharing this collective experience. And I think there's something so beautiful in that.
Yeah, it is an experience, right? That's what you're trying to create, and also it's an experience for you too, because
Hmm.
you're trying some new things, or you're maybe just playing with a couple different ideas, and I think it's great. It's wonderful. I think that that whole idea was perfect, really.
I think it's fun too because it was like Jesse said earlier. It's a different, like there's different genres. There's different like sounds and vibes and stuff. And it was just like fun to go there every week. I got really excited the one week when I saw a banjo. I'm like, oh yeah, we got a banjo, and then his girlfriend came up with an accordion. I'm like, oh my god, a banjo and an accordion. It was so cool. Enjoyed that show a lot.
I
Yeah,
like
and
that you got really excited about that. Yeah.
for sure. And their covers really were so interesting too because it was so them. Like they played some
Mhm.
MGMT with a banjo and an
Ooh,
accordion. And it was
Yeah,
just like never seen before, but it felt so right, but like so them, but so not the original, but like everyone recognized it still. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was fun.
yeah. I love MGMT, so
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
yeah. So who are your musical influences if you were to pick some names?
For sure. I mean, I like a lot of different artists for different reasons. So John Mayer is definitely one of my faves just because of the grooviness. And I feel like all of his songs just have like the perfect amount of everything. Like there's not too much, there's not too little. Everything that is in the mix is serving the song so well. I also have been really into this French group from France called Poom that does very like disco like music, just really fun sounds that are like just super fun to play with. And I really like Lou Adrienne Cassidy, who's a francophone artist from Quebec. And I just really appreciate like her honesty in her lyrics and her feminist approach to things. Also, just playing with our idea of like what a woman should be and just kind of seeing her like free herself within that concept and like playing with our minds a little bit. I think that's really cool. And I could keep going on. Like so many artists inspire me so much, but yeah, those are like probably like the three main ones.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now I'm gonna throw one at you as well. I'm gonna have you pick a couple of your favorite shows from the shed.
Oh, ooh.
Oh my
See,
goodness.
Elijah's gonna
Um,
be like in a spot,
mm-hmm. That's what we do.
Let's go,
yeah,
dog.
Thanks, man.
that's a good question. I think I have to say one of them was probably Good Fortune, which
Mm.
is a duo or like a solo artist slash duo. Like she plays with her boyfriend who plays bass, and she had like a little Nord electro keyboard, and I really appreciated the attention to detail in the sound. Everything was very thought out. Like they had this old amp for their drum machine to give it some character. And it was just like a very like they were really going for like a retro sound, and they really got that super well. And they both went to I think it wasn't Berkeley. It's like the one that's kind of like Berkeley in Toronto there for like jazz musicians. The name escaped me right now, but they were just really well trained and everything. Like the chords were so like it's like fun for a musician to listen to, because you're like, oh, okay, and then that chord went there, and just her voice was also just so stunning and
Mm-hmm.
so like perfect for that genre as well. So I think I was very impressed by that show, and I definitely gave kudos to Melanie for having some really cool friends that make really cool
Yes.
music.
Yeah, because she's a friend of Melanie's. Because Melanie told me that when she was there, she goes, she used to be my keyboard player. I'm like, oh, okay. Remember, she told us the story about.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's also a part of Great Lakes Swimmers too.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, the band.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, like
That's
like
why Dog's here. Eh? He's like the knowledge. You are the knowledge.
well, that's what. And then Jesse's right. It was such an amazing show. Oh my god, I was just like, this is awesome. There's a few other ones that stand out for me. Like Chairman George was fun
Hmm.
with his
Oh yeah.
multicultural show. He sang in different languages and stuff. It was a lot of
Oh,
fun.
did he?
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chinese.
Super diverse. Like that was the good thing about the shed was like there was nothing was really the same. It was
No.
just sort of everything kind of melded together nicely.
But it just like it's a big showcase of all the talent that we have in this city, right?
For sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There's so much talent. Like
Um,
we never ran out of options, that's for sure. And there's still a big list of many more artists that should definitely play the shed at some point, for sure.
Yeah, just going on that, you find that that's kind of what Ottawa's becoming. Is it's like even though there's always been artists here, they usually flee to Toronto or somewhere else. Do you find that it's Ottawa's kind of getting their foot in the door?
Absolutely. I think Ottawa's really on the rise. And as a
Excuse me.
young artist too, that like say I just graduated from university, like I don't feel the need to leave. I think there's so much potential here and there's so many parts of the industry that are growing here right now. And I think it's like the place to be. You know, there's space to take up, there's new initiatives starting, there's new festivals coming up or festivals that are getting more established and more people, more industry folks. Like there's just so much happening right now, including your podcast. So there's just so many things to do here in Ottawa, and I think it's just a great place to be because there's so much potential, and it's only going up from here. That's for sure.
Exactly.
We've only just begun.
We will not be on the shed at any time soon.
I would go in the shed just to like mess with it a bit. They'd be like,
No, no, no.
And now Gus sings Croner songs. And it'd be like,
You mean crooners?
fly me to the moon. No, Croner, because I'm not quite a crooner.
Okay. You're more of a Corona.
Correct.
Yes.
See, I was never known for my voice.
So what you're saying, Jesse, is that next year's Songs from the Shed, the list is already like put together because you had so many people you didn't have on?
There's definitely a lot more options. We still don't know. Nothing's confirmed about who's running the shed next year yet. But if it is Oh Mike again, we definitely have lots more artists that can play there, or the other opportunities that Oh Mike has also. But definitely a very long running list for sure.
Nice. We got some names for that list.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yep. Christine St. Pierre.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She
And
played
Nick.
this year. So lovely.
Yep. Did she? I miss her.
Yeah,
How did
she
I
was
miss her?
really early on in June. Oh, there's David.
Okay, maybe that was still at school. Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Dave.
Dave's the cat. If you see the cat,
It's
say
Dave.
what's up, Dave. Okay. And dog's name is Dave. So there's two Daves here.
Oh my god, I had no idea your name was Dave. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I just thought
Dog
his
that-
name was Dog this whole time.
Yep.
All summer long, I thought your name was Dog.
It is.
He's the dog. He's the
I'm
dog.
the dog.
Yeah. Can't you? Yeah. And I'm
You're,
and I'm the Gus
and you're the Gus.
or James, either or. If there was like, so say outside of Ottawa, you've done obviously some shows outside of Ottawa, but if you could play any venue on earth, would you? Which one would it be?
On Earth.
Or elsewhere?
Or on the moon or Mars.
Well, moon
Wow.
would be cool, man.
Yeah, man.
I want to go to the moon show.
You just said fly me to the moon, so
True.
you did.
Good point.
Yeah, thanks.
Probably like I don't know if this exists anywhere, but like I feel like a tree house with some really cute fairy lights and some like comfy beanbag chairs and like a
Mushrooms.
bunch of leaves everywhere. I don't know. I don't know if that exists, but I feel like that could be a super fun vibe.
We could make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah?
got a lot of land out there. I got a lot of land. I
Whoa.
could create that. Yeah.
You know what they
That's
say?
so cool.
Build it and they will come.
It's true. Yeah. Maybe I'll build my own little venue.
Absolutely.
Don't even look at me like that.
We
Like,
could have just gonna do it.
No.
Because I
I
just
don't have the
wanna-
time. I'm good at building stuff. You saw my deck and stuff.
Yes,
so
I
yeah.
do, Bob.
Yeah, Bob would build it.
Mhm.
That's not a bad idea. Like I like that, like treehouse style with the nice fairy lights and chairs everywhere. and
Beanbag chairs.
certainly mushrooms and other things. But no, we wouldn't even need those. We'd have such great music and such a
There you go.
melodic
Mellow,
atmosphere.
melodic. I've been messing up words all night, Jesse. We
Oh God.
did another show before this, and I couldn't say the word photographer.
Yeah, we only had
Oh
like
my
the best
goodness.
photographer in Ottawa, Laura on, and it's like he's like
Oh wow.
photographize.
Yeah, when you
do your photographizing, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
it's me trying to speak the English language and not doing a very good job.
It's all good, man. She
Yeah.
loved it. Let's get back to focus here.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. It was great. So, like, let's go on that treehouse a little bit more. That treehouse journey. Where did that come from? Like, you could have said like, the horseshoe in Hamilton, or you could say like El Macambo, or you could have said something. But you're like, no, let's create one. I love that. Are you that creative? Like, you really think that way?
I think so. Yeah, I've always been like the type of kid that like I won't wait for someone to do something for me. Like I'm just going to make it happen for myself. I think even just growing up, I kind of did a lot in the music industry from a young age just because I had that philosophy of just, well, if I want to meet people and I want to get opportunities, well, I'll just go to all these events and I'll meet all these people and I'll take these lessons and I'll do these smaller shows, and like that'll lead to bigger things. Like I have a very go-getter like energy when it comes to a lot of things. And I also have a very like organizational brain. Like I love organizing and I love creating really nice spreadsheets and doing all that type of stuff. So I think like those two paired together just make for like lots of cool ideas or projects to come to fruition. And even just like I recently moved, and I like my first task was to make my room like as like wholesome and like cute as possible. So I have like all my fairy lights and my like little fake leaves, and like that type of stuff is really important to me. To create that like really cute welcoming space to create in is very important to me too.
It's amazing. I love that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, how did the shed come about, Jesse? Did you have to apply to become like the host of the shed, or did you know Melanie from before, or what happened for that to come about?
Yeah, I mean, I knew some people on the board of Mike, and like I was one of the people being considered for the um assistant to the program coordinator job, and then in the end, the because a lot of things are grant funded in associations like this, and like in the end that didn't work out because of like one of the criterias from the grant. So I think Melanie just kind of had me in mind, and Sparks reached out about potentially programming this series. And she already had my resume on hand from, and all the other people's resumes, also from like the applications for the assistant position. And she reached out and said that she thought I could be potentially a good fit for that. And just kind of started from there, and we started booking artists and getting stuff together, and it's been just a lovely time and a lovely journey, and I'm so happy that I was even considered for the position, and it's been, yeah, so lovely. I'm so grateful.
Excellent. So did you and Melanie sit down and pick the artists, or did they just go from their list that they have of artists who are members of Mike?
So we have an artist submission form. So we have like all the answers from that in a spreadsheet. So we have a bunch of options from there. And then also just from being in the industry, you like get to know people and you think, oh, like, ooh, I just saw this person at a festival. I think they would be really good. And then, you share the artist submission form, and, just, yeah, keeps going from there. There's so many artists to choose from, but they definitely already have a very large bank of artists from the form for sure.
That's awesome. What are you working on musically right now?
I have a single coming out this week. And when it comes more to like composition type stuff, I'm actually working for a theater company to compose for a new play at the moment. So I've got some music coming out and some new music being created right now.
Wow, that's great.
Cool. And what
Hmm.
day does the single drop on?
It drops on Friday, September 22nd. So yeah, very, very excited
So
about that. It's a song I wrote for a TV show with Eric Eagleson. It's a French TV show called La Quête Sonique. So he did an English version of that TV series called The Human Crush, which came out on Bell 5. And now he's making a new one in French for Bell 5 also, which is already on the channel if you're interested in looking at that. But yeah, essentially we went to Stray Dog Brewing, which is a brewery in Orleans, and we wrote a song together and produced a song together, and then recorded like a little music video for it. And it was just a lovely time. And I had just actually my grandfather had just passed away kind of right before we wrote the song, so we ended up dedicating it to him. And he actually was the only other musician in my family, my grandfather. So he played the violin, and I had his violin. We even sampled it a bit in the song. And we used to play some music together at Christmas sometimes. So even though we didn't see each other very often because we were in different cities, we still really connected through music. So like the single essentially kind of talks about like that connection and like like how I'll continue singing the melodies and playing these songs for him, kind of thing.
Very cool.
So cool. Love it.
That's awesome. So the 22nd, so Friday.
So yeah, this will be out like after that. But yeah, just now that you're watching this live, we'll say check out the single everywhere you can get them, and also follow her on everything,
On all the socials.
everything. Because she's going to be a big star.
Yeah, don't follow her as in person because that's called stalking. That's just wrong.
Well,
I'd appreciate no one doing that, please.
Yeah, see? I knew that.
We'll don't worry. You got Dawg and Gus on your, like, if you got any problems, we'll just come. We don't just do podcasts. We do security as
Protective services.
Yeah, for all our friends. So I'm so sorry to hear about your grandfather. That's awful. I was very close to my grandfather also. But would you say musician, like as a musician, were you able to bounce things off him and like sort of bend his ear a bit? Did you get some knowledge from him or?
A little bit. He was pretty old, like when I was born. Like my mom was the youngest of 7 kids. So
French Canadian.
Yes,
obviously.
French Canadian. Yeah, from Saint-Lin-des-Laurentides in Quebec. So yeah, like he was definitely like kind of in his 80s when I started to be able to like have conversations with him. So at that point, like the music was definitely kind of slowly going away, but we still played like French Canadian folklore tunes at like the Christmas gatherings and stuff. It was always so funny though. He would give me like a score to follow him on the piano, but he would like kind of learn these songs by memory, but like I guess by ear and not that well, because he'd always be like I'd be like at the first measure and then all of a sudden we'd be at the 9th measure and then he was just jumping around everywhere to the point where I had to just start guessing what the next chord would be because he just really wasn't following the score he gave me.
I wonder if he did that on purpose. Just to mess with you.
Yeah, gonna mess with my granddaughter. Here we go.
Maybe that's the wisdom he passed on to me, like
yeah, you gotta be ready, you gotta be spontaneous.
Well, that's just it, like the spontaneity of like I remember I don't know if I should bring this embarrassing part up, but Jessy was doing a set and had to actually belch. And she's like, oh, that's just part of life. Remember I asked about that? How people, like when you're singing.
Yeah, you did ask, yeah.
When you're singing, if like,
ask her.
I'm going to do that. Does it ever come up like when you, like obviously it did because I saw it, but like when you're singing and all of a sudden like you need to burp or you have the hiccups, how does that work when you're singing?
That's really funny because I actually just played a gig this weekend where I accidentally a mosquito like went into my throat while I was singing and I had to stop singing to digest, like to swallow this mosquito. It was awful. But any burp, you try to like hide it. You try so hard to hide it. Like, so like the mosquitoes were flying around me before that, and like I was getting bitten, but like I was like, it's fine, it's part of it. Like we need to prioritize the song. Like same thing with the burps. Like if I find a spot where I'm not singing, I'll do it. Or sometimes if you think of like a vowel that it could work on, sometimes it'll also work there. It might just make it sound a little boomier somehow.
There you go.
You try your best. Doesn't always work because we're human and it's live. But I think like if you handle the situation well, like it can be a cool shared moment, like after I swallow, like after the mosquito like flew into my mouth and like into my throat and I had to swallow it, I kind of made jokes of like, haha, I guess like protein, or like I'm vegan. So I was like, that I don't know if that was vegan or like, like just like little things like that. That
we have to look that up and
like,
see if mosquitoes are vegan.
It's not vegan.
Darn it.
She's broken her credo, her code.
Her code of veganism.
I don't know. I think you're good. They only drink blood, so they're not like right?
Yeah.
They're good.
So it's protein.
Yeah, they're good.
Because blood is protein, is it not? I'm not a doctor.
Blood isn't protein.
It has protein in it.
Well, it better. I mean, that's part of your. You have to have protein.
Enough said. Ask her a question.
We're not going into this with you, actually.
No, you're not.
How do you deal with creative blocks or performance anxiety? Is there any of that come to you? Obviously, I mean, if you're swallowing mosquitoes and burping on stage, you're probably okay with performance. But no, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think my performance anxiety is definitely affected by like my routine and how I prepare for the show. So if I've practiced a lot beforehand, not too much the day of, not too much the day before, the day like 2 days before is a really important one for me. I think it's kind of when it like the last part of like the muscle memory sets in. And then yeah, as long as I'm like, and I pack up all my gear the day before, I do my vocal warm-ups earlier in the day. Yeah, like if I just kind of stick to my like usual routine and I feel confident about my set, I've like all the like instrument playing is basically muscle memory. It usually goes really well, and I've done like enough shows now that I've got it quite down. Um, but yeah, there's definitely still some stress sometimes. We're only human, and your instrument when you're a singer is
Dave.
yourself. Yep. So if you're stressed, if you're living like life stuff, like of course that's going to affect your voice. It's going to affect how you perform, your energy on stage. Um, but speaking from experience, like the adrenaline kind of always kicks in. It always ends up going great. It's always, a shared experience with everyone. You just show up with what you have, and it always goes great. Even if I'm stressed, I'm always happy at the end of the show. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, I have to ask, if you own a black cat and it walks in front of you, is this still bad luck?
You asked the black cat owner.
I mean,
Is
that
it?
happens a lot in a day, so I hope not.
No, she seems okay. There's not a lot going. Well, we'll see. I don't know.
Well, this is like the second podcast where we've had a pet join it. It's awesome.
Pets are welcome, man.
Yes, they are. This is a pet
You're a
free
dog, and I'm Gus. Gus usually means cat, so like, or a polar bear if it's the tragically hip.
There you go. So a dog and a polar bear walk into a room.
Do you like the tragically hip? That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah, they're definitely quite a bit before my time, but like I'll listen to them sometimes. But I'm born in 2001, so
That wasn't a question.
Wow.
No,
Gosh, do you see how she avoided that?
no. She said she was graceful. I love
Yes,
it.
I like it.
Yeah.
And Grace too.
Grace too. That's a good song. You gotta look that one up. Okay.
okay.
Grace too. Yeah. Gord was a poet.
Gus is a huge fan, Jesse. If you haven't noticed, he's like probably the biggest hip fan that I know.
Okay.
And I know 3 people.
Yeah, it's a band that I've seen 40 times
Oh my
which is a lot.
goodness.
for one band. Yeah.
Yeah.
In different venues, like crazy venues, like obviously in Kingston, that's where they're from. But I saw them in Bob Cajun, which is one of their songs, and then I saw them in upstate New York with 200 other people. It was like nobody sees them in the States. It was they're a huge Canadian band, but nobody knows really knows who they are. And then name it, I've seen them East Coast, West Coast, Toronto, Ottawa. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm a big fan. I kind of, when you're younger, like you were born in 2001. So when you were in 2014, when you were 13, there was probably music that kind of hit you and that was what stayed with you. So when I was 13, that's when the hip hit me. That's just the way it went.
I sadly I was 30 when you were 13.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it hit you the same way.
It did.
Well, no, it's like I'm sure. Maybe I'll ask you that question. When you were younger, like when obviously we asked you your influences, but like was there a time in your life where you knew that music was going to be, what you want? Like that's who you want to be. You want to be a musician, and that was like your goal. Is there a time that it hit you?
Yeah, I mean, I actually started piano lessons at 6, and at first I hated them because my teacher wanted me to do like, like the books, and you go number 1, and once you get number 1 good, you go to number 2, and like it was very classical.
Grades, right? You have to be. It's a grade school almost for that.
Yeah,
Right?
it was just like poorly made books, honestly. And then I actually quit piano, and I thought I hated music. Like I was like, no, it's not for me. And then my mom forced me to take lessons with someone else the year, like a couple years later or something. And I ended up really liking it, but because this person recognized that I really liked like singing, like I've kind of always sung like my whole life just for fun. And I essentially like she would teach me chords to pop songs, and then I would like learn these chords, and then I would write like 15 songs per chord progression. So like when I'm diving into like old lyrics, like when I get into like a certain book, I'm like, okay, I know like the first half of this book is all like 1 6 4 5 chords. So I just, you know, I know exactly what chord. Oh my goodness. Hi, David.
Oh, he's in trouble now. She called him David.
He made Siri go off.
Oh.
Yeah, and I feel like because she really focused on what my interests were, like I was really into like Hannah Montana back in the day, you know, like being like a pop star, like singing on stage, writing your own songs, like High School Musical, Camp Rock, like all of those were kind of like my first like experiences of like, oh my god, this is what like being a musician is like. That looks so fun. I want to be up on that stage doing all that and writing songs about my life and sharing them. And um so it was definitely gradual. And then like once I was like into it, my and also my parents were super supportive, which was awesome. And then I started like guitar lessons at 8, um more seriously songwriting at 10, and then performing at 12. I was like a super shy kid, so performing was really hard for me. But it's really, I think, through performing that I got out of my shell, and then I started taking up more space and being less shy and sharing my emotions. And also because I was a shy kid, songwriting was like a super important outlet for me, to get my emotions out and stuff. So I think music did a lot of good for me. And then it just kind of kept going from there with like intensive music programs and a bachelor of music, also. So yeah, it's definitely my passion, and I'm so glad I found it at a really young age.
It's great.
She knows music.
Is that what you got from that?
That's what
I
my
do.
degree says.
Yeah, I got that at a very young
That's
age.
what her degree says. Good for her.
Yeah, there you
Yeah. Maybe don't be such a sarcastic prick next time, all right?
go. Okay,
No, that was
because you
great.
said so.
Oh, come on. I can't play with you anymore. Okay, Dave walked by again.
Yeah, come on, Dave.
Yep.
David.
I think he went back to
Have
sleep.
any Gus likes to ask this question, so I'm going to steal it from him today. Do you have any pet peeves?
I mean, as a like
Cats
younger
walking
woman
across, sorry.
in the industry, I think definitely like not being taken seriously, or like being mansplained certain things, or not being given the space to speak is like something I've kind of witnessed a few times. Just like people not trusting in my ability from the beginning, and almost like having to prove myself, or like having to force myself into the conversation to like be given more space to speak. Um so probably that, like, just let's have a two-way conversation, and like just treat me like you would any other musician, and we'll have a great time.
I don't like I wouldn't see why that's I could understand why that'd be a pet peeve, but like why is that like even still like you're both if anything you can just sort of say I went to school for music, I'm a musician, I love music, like let's have a discussion about what you see and then I can see what I see and then meet like and I'm the artist so I'm going to decide what's the best for me anyway. I can see that there's a lot of that in every industry I think, but I would imagine that those one thing I've noticed as I've had twin daughters is I've softened up my not to say that I was always like my super masculine. I am masculine, but like super like you do it this way and that's it. There's no other way to do it. I have 4 sisters and they just beat the shit right out of me. So it you learn that this is there's 2 ways to look at it and to be open minded to different things and not just think that because you're a dude you're gonna have the right way, right? And I love that. I think that's I'd be pissed off too if I was be my pet peeve.
Yeah, it's a good one. I find a lot, especially in the music industry, when you've got like the executives who have zero musical knowledge, experience, trying to tell you, no, Jesse, this is how we're going to do this. No, dude, we're not. You're going to listen to me because I'm the musician. I'm the one that wrote the songs. I'm the one that.
Yeah, I mean they did that to many, like they did that
Yeah.
to male artists too, and it's like they just unfortunately, they think that because they know something about the business as the business, they don't know shit about the art, right? So, yeah, I get it. It's like,
Mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
pain. Yeah.
Yeah, like I recently
Were we
read
just mansplaining? I hope we weren't just mansplaining something there, because I feel like I'm definitely not trying to do that at all.
it's okay. No, you're good. You're good. I was recently reading a book. Like, do you know about Tara Shannon's new book, like You in the Music Business?
No, but if you
She's
know what, somebody else told me about this, so I'd love to hear your aspect of it.
Yeah, well, Tara was actually my mentor. I did artist development with her from age 12 and on, and I think it really gave me like a leg up in the industry. But I think rereading that book, that kind of summarized a lot of the stuff she talked about with me throughout my younger years when I was doing like songwriting lessons, like performance coaching, all that type of stuff with Tara. It really kind of spoke to me, and it's a lot about, like kind of diving back into yourself and letting that be your guiding factor in your decisions in music, and why you're writing, like connecting back to the real reason you write. It's not for others, it's for yourself, you like just diving back into that. And I think that's been so powerful, especially to hear now that I'm like diving into the industry more full time. I think it's so important, like, and if I feel like if I just keep staying grounded in myself and keep doing all this for the right reasons and tuning into myself, I think everything's going to be okay. So it's a really lovely book.
I think
I,
you'll be
I
fine.
strongly recommend.
I totally think that do what you feel is right, and that's the right thing to do. And yeah, it's totally. I think that's a great thing. So I'd like somebody else mentioned this book to me, so I
Is that right?
think I'm going to check it out. Yeah, for sure.
I think you should buy it and then let me have it after you.
Sure.
I'm just teasing. I'll get it myself.
Go to the library, bro.
The what?
The library.
What's
Free.
that?
They have tons of good books there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Check one of those places.
Free, actually. They'll give you a free membership, and you get free books for a week or two. And
What if I can't read that fast?
Well, then that's your problem.
Okay, fair enough.
You gotta pay, then the bookman comes for you.
Oh, the book police. Jessy, when you have free time, what do you like to do other than music?
I love to crochet. I enjoy crocheting. I'm a bit. I feel like I like chill times. Like crocheting, a nice blanket, a book, a cup of tea. I also really like biking, like going on bike rides. I've always enjoyed like faster things. Like when I was a kid, we did a lot of like four wheeling and skidooing and dirt biking and stuff. So I think anything that goes faster than you can possibly go as a human, I really enjoy the adrenaline of. Spending time with Dave, of course. Can't forget to shout out my man Dave. And then hanging out with friends,
man,
going to
Dave.
shows, going to cafes, creating with other artists, going to parks. Always love a good picnic by the water. Great time, walks, good chats, lots of stuff for sure. And I think it all helps inspire the next songs. So I think it's really important to take time for that, because being a very like determined kid to like, oh my god, music is my passion, I want to do, like, spend all of my time doing that. I think at one point I forgot to take time for myself and to see the value in doing the chill fun things and hanging out with people, and how that really inspires the music. So I think I'm really proud of myself for taking more time to do the fun stuff and for doing the self-care stuff for sure.
Yeah, it's good for your head, good for your brain.
Yeah.
It's
It's good. Like, I mean, to have the passion, absolutely. To have the drive and the determination, very important. But it's also time just to step back and just,
you do your best. So it's like when you're studying or something. Right?
Yeah.
Like you study for 25 minutes, but you take 5-minute breaks, and then you just.
I did it the other way around.
Yeah. No, you didn't. You weren't studious. That's for sure. I wasn't either. I just but I'm just saying that, like, I think that it's important to take breaks.
Yes.
And that's, so usually when you go back, you're fresh and you have a better outlook. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Jessy was just explaining that.
That was a great answer.
Through her 26 things that she does outside of music,
I only counted
Excellent.
25. What'd I miss?
Well, Dave was the important one.
Oh, yes. I caught that.
Hear me and Dave. Do you give music lessons? Is that part of your, or do you just sort of Are you just writing for yourself and for your own catalog?
I'm going to start giving piano lessons to kids in Francophone elementary schools in Ottawa. It's definitely like giving back to the younger generations is definitely something I want to start doing in my artistic practice, and hopefully going back to like festivals that I did in high school also, and instead of being the person taking or the young person taking the workshops, hopefully starting to give them as well. So that's definitely very important for me. And I do co-write a bit too, and I'm also a composer too. So I write for other people as well and other projects too, which is it keeps things interesting. It's fun to be like given a script and then to have to write based on that. So it's a fun time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, the musical you spoke of earlier, is that something that's happening now, or is it coming up in the future?
It's coming up in the future, so they're doing a run of the play in early November at Arts Court. It's called Label, and it's with the Levity Theatre Co. So yeah, I'm doing all the composing for that. There's a lot of different genres of music to tap into because it's kind of jumping into like memories. So say one of them
Okay.
is like high school prom, so it's like the stereotypical like, like bam 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 bam, like that kind of like what you would hear at like a high school prom dance.
Nice.
There's even like a punk song at one point. There's some orchestral stuff. So I definitely get to play in a lot of different genres, and I think it 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 kind of plays up my alley in a way because I'm a songwriter, singer, and I've also got like a bachelor of music in voice and contemporary composition. So that works out, and it's fun to dive into a bunch of different stuff. It keeps things interesting, that's for sure.
I want to quote Goodwill Hunt right now. She's wicked smart.
She probably doesn't know that movie.
Wicked smart means you're real smart.
She doesn't know that movie.
Oh, damn.
It's before her. It's before her time.
Jessy. Anyway, I keep forgetting that she's so young.
22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it. 2001.
Sharper than both of us, though.
Put together.
Yeah.
You're too kind.
What do you think that is the most important thing for a musician to remember?
That's a good question. Probably to like trust yourself. I think like the reason I find creating music so easy, and it like I is because I allow it to just flow through me. I don't try to control things too much. I just trust my intuition, and I trust my musical capabilities, and I just like let what's supposed to flow through me, and like I keep working on it, of course, but I think like just not being your own critic right away is super important, and to just like let the music come and trust yourself.
Good answer.
She's full of them.
Yeah, she's very good.
Like,
yeah,
that's a great. And having confidence, I think, in anything that you do is hard to do. So to come up with figuring that out and saying like the best part about what I'm doing is I'm doing it for me, and then hopefully it works out for everybody to enjoy. But.
Well, it's fantastic too for like her age as well, right? To have that confidence, it's important.
Hey man, there's I think she's lucky to find it that early, but it's definitely I think think there are people that are 22 and 23 and 24 years old now. Like look at the space between and stuff like that. Like you guys got to figure it out, man.
Yeah,
it took us like 60 years for you and 40 for me to put our figure out our artistic place, because we were sort of like I'm artistic. I'm both sides, right? I'm like I'm artistic, but I also am sport, like athletically driven, and then it's like I need an outlet for art, and my art was now as being a podcaster. So it was amazing that we just find it when you find it, right?
Yeah, and I'm just perpetually lazy.
I don't think there's any real age thing.
No, I agree. Now, Jessy, I have a question for you. It's not written down. Which would be the bigger thrill? To have somebody like maybe a major artist record a song that you've written, or be doing a show and having the whole audience sing along to your song? Which one would give you the bigger thrill?
Mm. I feel like I've kind of experienced a bit of both in like a smaller kind of, not huge artists, but I have had one artist record
Mhm.
my song and perform it in front of like a big audience, and like I didn't know they were going to play my song, and then they played my song and then everyone knew it was my song. That was a really cool feeling. It was a little bit nerve-wracking because I was like, oh my god, my song, like how are they going to sing it? And then I also have some lovely friends that like know all of my lyrics by heart, and that shows will definitely like sing along to them very loudly, and that's always such a beautiful feeling. um I think I'm a person that like I'm working on it, but I do like to have control over things a little bit. So I think I probably would pick the second one just because I'm the one performing on stage and we're just all vibing, and it's so lovely to see like everyone singing the song, but they're both equally lovely. I just sometimes have trouble like letting go of the control of like I don't have any control over how this is going to sound, but it's going to be lovely, but it's like it's a bit more of a uneasy experience, not because it's bad, just because I want that control that I don't have like deep down.
No, it makes sense.
No, fair enough. No,
Yeah, it
I
does.
agree. And how would you say your sound has evolved over the years? Do you think it's like, obviously you've changed, and do you think your
Hmm.
sound changes as you grow? Is that something that changes?
Absolutely. I mean, especially because like I released my first single at 12 years old. So then I released something at 16 and then at 17 or something. So it like I was very much more in like the folk side of things before. I think it's a fairly easy genre to start in a way. It's like you get your acoustic guitar, you get some heartfelt lyrics, and you sing like well, and like it, whereas like say like the genre I'm in right now takes more like complex keys sounds, and it's more poppy, and like the production needs to be more elaborate and stuff. So I definitely think it's evolved quite a bit, and I've also learned to get to know myself a lot better. Like I think even the difference between high school and like early university was huge. Because I think we're so like in high school we care so much about what other people will think of us, and then in university you realize, oh wow, no one cares. I can just do whatever I want, and if I get to know myself, I'll
Some people
know what
never
makes me
find it. Some
happy.
people never. Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, some people never find that. Like nobody cares. Like it's like, even when you watch somebody who wants to post something on social media, but they have so much trouble figuring out if it's the right way to post it, and you're like, nobody really, they'll see it and they'll be like, ah, great. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not like people. It's ego. It is ego, but it's also self confidence that is lacking. But it's your ego saying, I'm not good enough to people see it. Yeah, some people just never find it. Like the fact that you found it in university, I think you did it right. In high school we thought too much of what people thought, and then in university you figured out, hey, nobody's really thinking about me at all. So it's like, yeah.
See, there's my problem. I didn't go to university, so
Well, no, it's not. I think that it's just
I'm teasing.
as I mentioned, like not just bringing back the age difference, but because of I think social media and having the access to your cell phone and all those things that you've kind of grown up with. It is, and not to say that it's been easier for you to do that, but it's certainly that I think that having the access to those things shown you that people don't care as much as you might think they do. But for us who grew up without cell phones, you had to figure some shit out on your own too. Like, and not to say that you didn't have to do that, but I was just sort of, I guess I'm mansplaining it. Fuck's sakes.
Just stop
No,
talking.
I'm not. I'm not. I just, you know what I mean? It's sort of like a different time. That's all.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think I was pretty lucky too because my parents didn't let me have a phone till I was like in ninth grade. So I think I had like a good mixture of like, having the space to, paint and to like go outside and appreciate nature and like play around in like playgrounds and like find water or jump in or yeah, like mud and, just do all the fun kid things too. And then when the phone came in, it was, I was a bit older and stuff. So I feel like I'm grateful that I had those moments without it also.
Yeah. It's so good. So good. The nature is the key.
Well, it's, you know, it's nice to put the phone down and go enjoy something other than, you know, TikTok or Spotify or whatever. Like it's just, it takes up so much of our time now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you ever look at your time on your,
Oh, I don't.
you should. 'cause
I
it's
no,
probably a lot.
no, I can't.
You probably a day of work on your phone, 8 hours a day.
Well,
No, I mean, I'm on at 6, I think.
But if it
something
counts-
that, which is ridiculous.
but if it counts
unfortunately.
listening to Spotify and stuff, then yes, because I always have it on.
No, that's again, that's part of it. But I'm not saying that that's a bad thing.
No, it's just more just I can't drive anywhere without music, so I can't. And in my time at
Somebody's there. Is Dave talk? I don't even know.
Yeah,
He's
Dave
got
talks.
something to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Dave? Dave's like, hello.
Yeah, I'll bring him in
Got
the
a friend
frame.
there. So, yeah.
Yes. There
So
he is.
So we have a fun question that we ask everybody.
Let's ask Dave.
Yeah, Dave's got to have an answer too, but Dave's definitely an 80s cat.
I
for
think so, yeah.
Go ahead, doggy.
Yeah, so Jesse, we asked this question of everybody we've had on the show since the very beginning, and it's kind of a popularity thing, but it's not. So don't feel bad if you answer wrong.
But answer right.
But yeah, so we'll give you a choice between 2 decades of music, 80s and 90s. What you go to at 22 years old? I had to add that in.
Yeah, don't. She may listen to whatever. You never know.
Yeah, but you're already 1 for 1 today, so I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I
So
think
80s or
I think
90s?
I feel like it. I don't know if I could choose one or the other. I think it depends on the where what I'm doing. You know, like if I'm like hanging with friends and we're like looking for a good time and we just want to like maybe dance around or move or something, probably like 80s. But like if I want to like get deep and I'm like alone and I want to like sing some lyrics loud or like get more introspective, probably 90s.
That's a bit too democratic. We're
Yep.
gonna need like a choice.
Okay, in this moment I'm feeling 90s.
Boo.
That's
I also relate to it
Magical.
more because all those 2000s movies had some 90s music in it. So
True stories.
yeah.
very true. Very true.
Nostalgic.
Some classic 90s music.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was your go-to movie that you like, the 2000s movie?
Oh, that's a good question. One thing about me is I have a terrible memory when it comes to names and stuff. Like I will see something and I'll be like, "Oh my god, yeah, that thing." But like if I okay, let me think. Honestly, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Maybe like Lizzie McGuire or something. Like
Okay. Yeah, 90s music in that, I think.
I have no idea what that
Me
is.
neither. Lizzie McGuire isn't that Hillary Duff?
yeah, it's Hilary Duff.
Do you remember that?
I know Hilary Duff. The blonde?
Yeah. No, I just was messing with you because you didn't have a good memory, but it's okay. I was just like, I'm being me. Basically, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's right.
I see.
Well,
I like to tease a bit, you know.
you can't
Yeah,
be
I mean,
me
after a
'cause you're
summer
you.
with Dawg, I'm used to it.
True. Dog is pretty sarcastic, actually.
Not
Oh,
even
yeah.
a little bit. Or maybe a whole lot. It's either one or the other.
Yeah, he's got his moments.
I do.
His moments.
I do.
Yeah, like all the time.
When senility comes in and then it goes back out and I'm back to being
exactly.
me.
Can't wait till you like super senile and we're having our show and it's like, you know, Dawg and Gus and Dawg just forgets something.
I'm going to look over at you and go,
I'll be napping.
I'll look, oh, who the hell are you? What are you?
Where am I? Did you ever watch? This is terrible, but have you ever seen Waiting? You know the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds and like
I know of the movie.
it's a pretty terrible movie actually, but there's like the scene where this old man sitting at a table and Ryan Reynolds, how are you today, sir? And he goes, well, slipping slowly into senility. And Ryan says, well, at least you get to meet somebody new every day. And he's like, yep. It's terrible, but it's funny. Sorry, it was
There you
funny.
go.
Well, listen, you're awesome, and we appreciate your time and your patience again with our scheduling. And your new single will be out when this comes out, so we're excited to hear it. It goes on it's on a TV. Is it a French song? Is it a French song?
Yes, it is a French song. It's called
Okay.
Pour toi.
Okay, what's it called? Pour toi, for you.
Yes. Yes. You got
Je
that
parle
one.
français, tu sais pas, je peux parler français avec toi si tu veux.
OK,
Dawg sait pas parler
parfait.
français.
That's right. Dog
On
does not
recommence
speak
l'entrevue,
French.
mais en
Yeah,
français
that's all.
cette fois-ci?
Oui, c'est ça. On va recommencer. Tu prépares pour ça?
No.
Préparer pour ça?
No.
Je dois pratiquer mon français, je m'excuse.
OK, la
Yeah,
prochaine
just
fois.
make excuses for me. That's fine.
Yeah, I speak French, but it's like immersion French from the 90s. So prior to your being alive. And, but I do remember a lot of it, but I just don't get to use it as much, right? Because it's not something. So,
I'm just happy they didn't have us do it because Jessy, when she does the shows at the Shed, she does it in both the languages. And I was kind of concerned about that when we did the shows. I'm like, do you want us to speak in French? Because I have to bring Gus if we do.
yeah, and then that'll be a shit show too. You want to see me kind of bumbling around?
No,
like,
but it'd be worse if I was.
Bonjour, je suis Gus et ça c'est Dawg et on a des podcasts. Je dois pratiquer mon français. Voilà, Jessy. And then that'll be it. Like, I'll be like, I'm out of that. So yeah, I get away with it, but I need to practice for sure. I mean, I do love, je suis tu es, il est, nous sommes, ils sont, vous êtes. Like I have the Becherel. Like,
OK.
so my memory is amazing. Whereas you mentioned your memory isn't quite as good, but am I able to retain stupid things and then also things that are not pertinent, like the Becherel? I mean, it is good to know your verbs, but
If we're talking about remembering stupid things, my memory's exquisite.
sometimes
All the
you
time,
forget
maybe.
a lot of stupid things too, though.
Yeah, because I got too many stupid things in my head.
Yeah, that's true.
It is true.
Jessy, you're the best. Thank you so much. Look forward to actually meeting you in person. And, obviously this is virtual, but no, it was so nice to speak with you. And thank you for some time today.
Of course, it was my pleasure. It was so nice to meet you too. Y'all have such a fun time on here, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yeah,
We do our best.
You should come on and just be like, you could do the French version of Dawg and Gus. Like, not that you don't have enough on your plate, so we thought we'd add something to it.
Yeah, like we'll put that on her list of things to do when she's not doing music is to come and help us.
Yeah.
Number 29.
Yeah, we'll be following you for your career, and I think you're going to be a big star. Like as far as you want to go, anyway. And it's so wonderful that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It
we'll
was
see
so
you soon.
lovely. Sounds good. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.